Hello and good evening, everyone. This is a presentation for Data 620, Project 1, presented by Team 3. Important to note, for use of the particular GML file we're using for this project, we have downgraded NetworkX to version 1.9.1. This has to do with a deprecated and outdated GML format. Task 1 was to find and load a network dataset with categorical information available on each node. We found a network dataset containing American college football game interactions with categorical data on which conference they belong in. So again, the nodes represent teams, whereas the categorical data on the teams represent which conference teams belong to. You can see the values of the categories go from or range from 0 to 11, or the 12 conferences, because Python starts its indexing as 0. So do we. Here's a formatted graph where we assign the different categories their own specific color. So the nodes still representing teams now have colors representing which conference they belong to. Task number 2 was to calculate centralities. For degree centrality, we found that teams who played the most games have the highest degree centrality, and that conferences with few teams have an average centrality significantly lower than other conferences with a greater amount of teams. You can see here the independents with 5 members have a 0.8 centrality measure, degree centrality, and the Sun Belt with I believe 6 or 7 teams have a 0.81. Whereas the average degree centrality happens to be 0.92, and it generally goes above that. We can actually think that the independents and the Sun Belt drag down the average, and we should probably use the median to more accurately represent the average centrality. So, for closeness centrality, higher closenesses show that a particular team or conference may have more games played with other teams outside their own conference. An example would be Louisiana Tech, who has the highest closeness centrality, only interacted with teams inside their own conference twice, but played a total of 10 games, 4 out of 5 games being out of their conference. For betweenness centrality, it appeared that nodes or teams who had the most interconference interactions had the highest betweenness centrality. So Louisiana Tech would be assumed to have low betweenness centrality. Igene vector centrality, by definition, if a node is Igene vector important, it will be linked to, while likely fewer, but stronger nodes, or ones with higher centrality than the one that has a high degree centrality. So task 3 was to analyze that data, and what we found was that conferences such as Independence and Sun Belt, which had the smallest amount of teams and the lowest degree centrality, also have the lowest Igene vector centrality. Teams coming from these two conferences could be deemed less central than teams from other conferences by these measures. Accompanying these are a few histograms. We can see that the betweenness centrality, while rightly skewed, could be said to be near normal distribution. We have a near normal distribution for the closeness centrality, and we also have a bimodal distribution for the Igene vector centrality, and a left skew for the degree centrality. I hope you enjoyed Team 3's Data 620 Project 1 presentation, and have a great night, guys.